Merchant of Venice, Act 4, Scene 1. So students, till now we have discussed how Portia turns tables on Shylock. Shylock is now in a tight corner, and Gratiano repeats Shylock's words, Daniel, upright and learned judge, to mock at Shylock. So students, now let us read lines from 344 till 389. But before that, let us read the objectives. So here students, by the end of this video, you will be able to understand the explanation of lines 344 till 389, learn the meanings of difficult words, and learn the literary devices and references. So let's start with the text reading. Gratiano. A second Daniel, a Daniel Jew, now infidel, I have you on the hip. So here students, the meaning of the word Daniel, a great Jewish character of the Old Testament in the Bible who was known for his wisdom and judgment. Infidel, a person who does not believe in Christianity or unbeliever. On the hip means this phrase is taken from wrestling. To have a man on the hip meant to secure such a hold on him that he was helpless and could be easily thrown by his opponent. So here students, Portia declares that Shylock cannot cut off more than a pound of Antonio's flesh. And in that process, if he sheds even a single drop of blood, then Shylock will have death penalty and all his property will be confiscated. Now students, at this point Gratiano is elated and praises Portia using Shylock's own word, Daniel, and declares that he has a firm hold on Shylock, the non-believer in Christianity. Now let's proceed further. Portia. Why doth the Jew pause? Take thy forfeiture. So here students, the meaning of the word forfeiture is penalty of bond. So here children, Shylock was eager to take Antonio's flesh, but after hearing Portia's words, he did not proceed with the act of cutting off Antonio's flesh. In this line, Portia taunts Shylock by asking him why he pauses now and asks him to take what is due to him, that is, the pound of flesh. Shylock, give me my principal and let me go. Now here students, the word principal means sum, or you can say amount. So here students, Shylock asks only for the principal amount and requests to let him go. So students here, what is the principal amount he is demanding? That is 3,000 ducats. Now let's proceed further. Bassanio. I have it ready for thee. Here it is. Now Bassanio says he has the amount ready with him. Portia. He hath refused it in the open court. He shall have merely justice and his bond. So here students, but Portia says that Shylock has already refused to take the 3,000 ducats in the open court, and now he will have only justice according to the terms of the bond. Gratiano. A Daniel still, say I. A second Daniel. I thank thee, Jew, for teaching me that word. So here students, Gratiano repeats the word a second Daniel to please Portia and thanks Shylock for teaching him the word Daniel, because it was Shylock only who first used the word Daniel. Shylock, shall I not have barely my principal? Now students, here barely my principal means without any interest. So here Shylock asks for at least his original sum, that is 3,000 ducats. Portia, thou shalt have nothing but the forfeiture, to be so taken at the peril due. So here students, the word peril means risk. So here Portia denies Shylock's request and says that he will have nothing but the penalty to be taken at his own risk. Shylock, why then the devil give him good of it? I will stay no longer question. So here students, the devil give him good of it means may the devil take him. And the meaning of the word question, discussion. So here now Shylock has lost the opportunity to take revenge from Antonio. And in frustration, he says that devil may take Antonio and he will not stay there to discuss that any longer. Now let's proceed further. Now students, we are going to read the gist first. So here in these lines, Gratiano says to Shylock that there is truly a judge as wise as Daniel. To this, Portia says to Shylock to not delay the justice and take 1 pound of flesh. Shylock asks her to give him 3,000 ducats and let him go. Bassanio is ready to pay him money. To this, Portia stops him by saying that Shylock has already refused it publicly in the court, and he will have nothing but strict justice according to the terms of the bond. So Gratiano once more praises Portia as a judge who is as wise as Daniel and thanks Shylock for suggesting that comparison to him. Shylock inquires from Portia if he will receive back his original sum, that is 3,000 ducats. Portia informs him that he will just have his bond. Now let's proceed with the text reading, students. Portia, tarry, Jew, the law hath yet another hold on you. It is enacted in the laws of Venice. If it be proved against an alien that by direct or indirect attempts he seek the life of any citizen, the party against the which he doth contrive shall seize 1/2 his goods, the other half comes to the privy coffer of the state, and the offender's life lies in the mercy of the Duke only against all other boys. So first of all, students, let's understand the meanings. Tarry means wait. Hold means claim. Enacted, laid down. Alien, foreigner. Party, person. Contrive, plot. Privy coffer, private treasury. And against all other voice means no other person being allowed to intervene. So here, students, Portia says to Shylock to wait a while, as the law has another claim on him. It is laid down in the laws of Venice that if it is proved against a foreigner that he has conspired directly or indirectly against a Venetian citizen's life, then that citizen against whom he plotted is entitled to 1/2 of the foreigner's property. The other half is to be paid into the treasury of the state. In addition to this, the offender may retain his life only by the exercise of mercy by the Duke, with no possibility of a higher appeal. Continue reading with the text. In which predicament, I say, thou standst, for it appears by manifest proceeding that indirectly and directly too, thou hast contrived against the very life of the defendant, and thou hast incurred the danger formerly by me rehearsed. Down therefore and beg mercy of the Duke. Now students, come to the word meanings. Predicament means difficult situation. Manifest proceeding, clear evidence. Contrived, plotted. Rehearsed, described. And down means kneel down. So here students, in this situation, Portia says that such a charge is now applicable to him. Now here students, which charge we are talking about? The charge of plotting against the life of Antonio, who is a citizen of Venice. So there is a clear evidence from what has happened that he has conspired both directly and indirectly against the life of Antonio, the defendant. So Shylock has become liable to the penalty which he has just mentioned. So she advises him to kneel down before the Duke and ask for mercy. Now students, come to the gist. So here Portia tells the Jew, that is Shylock, to wait as the law has still a claim on him. It is laid down in the laws of Venice that if it is proved against a foreigner that directly or indirectly he has plotted against the life of any citizen of Venice, then that citizen against whom he plotted may seize one half of the foreigner's property. The other half shall be paid into the private treasury of the state, and the offender may only retain his own life by the exercise of mercy by the Duke, no other person being allowed to intervene. Portia says that this charge is now applicable to Shylock, for it appears with clear evidence that he has conspired against the very life of Antonio, the defendant, both directly and indirectly. He has become liable to the penalty which she has just mentioned, so she advises him to kneel to the Duke at once and ask for mercy. Now students, let's proceed further. Gratiano, beg that thou mayst have leave to hang thyself, and yet thy wealth being forfeit to the state, thou hast not left the value of a cord. Therefore, thou must be hanged at the state's charge. So here students, Gratiano says to Shylock to ask for the Duke's permission to hang himself, and further says that his wealth has been forfeited to the state and he does not have enough money to buy a rope. So he must be hanged at the expense of the state. Duke, that thou shalt see the difference of our spirits, I pardon thee thy life before thou ask it. For half thy wealth it is Antonio's, the other half comes to the general state, which humbleness may drive unto a fine. So here students, the meaning of the word spirits, nature, and humbleness means humbly begging for mercy. So here the Duke says that in order to make Shylock to see the difference between his attitude and the attitude of Christians. He says that he grants him his life even before he asks for it. As the punishment, half of his wealth now belongs to Antonio and the other half belongs to the public treasury, but it may be reduced to a fine instead if he humbly begs for mercy. Portia, A for the state, not for Antonio. So here students, Portia immediately adds that Shylock's property that may be reduced to a fine is that part of property that belongs to the state, not the part that now belongs to Antonio. Shylock, nay, take my life and all. Pardon not that. You take my house when you do take the prop that doth sustain my house. You take my life when you do take the means whereby I live. So here students, nay means no and prop means pillar. So here Shylock is so dejected that he tells the Duke to take away his life and everything and not to give that property back to him. He blames them that by taking away his property, which is the means by which he lives, they are taking away his life, just as they take his house when they take away the pillars which support it. So, what are the pillars that support his life, students? Here, pillars refers to his property that he uses to lend and to charge interest. So students, let's read the gist. Gratiano asked Shylock to hang himself, but yet, since all his wealth has been forfeited to the state, he has not enough money left to buy a rope, so he must be hanged at the expense of the state. Then the Duke says that he may see the difference between his nature and that of a Christian. He grants him his life before he asks for it. Half his wealth now belongs to Antonio, and the other half belongs to the public treasury. But he may be let off with a fine instead if he humbly begs for mercy, to which Portia says that it concerns the state's half, but not Antonio's. Shylock says that they may take his life as well and ask them not to restore that to him. He complains that they take his house when they pull away the pillars which support his house. It's just as taking his life when his livelihood is taken. So students, this is all about our today's class. Your homework is read and plan lines, that is 390 till 434, and write meanings of difficult words. So thank you students. Have a nice day.